Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. I mean, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been a lot of things that I've been taking outside of football, so I've been a little bit behind on the videos. So hopefully things will pick up again. But I mean, I'm happy to be here, happy to be back doing these. So back to the match reaction show. It's finished. Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1, and I mean, the league title was over a long time ago. The title race, or whatever you want to call it, if you can call it a race, it was over a long time ago. I think City are now not pretty much. I'd say they're done. His title is done. I know a lot of people in the commentary box and in the media. You've got to protect the assets. You're like, oh, it's there. It's almost there. It's almost there. No, it's there. It's done. It's over. So, but that was done. But I think from a different perspective, I think this match would be of interest to West Ham for their top four spots. And I think they've shown some credentials. Ultimately, it's a loss, but they showed that they have got the ability to win, games against teams that are better than them, or at least put in good performances against teams. So they look like they have that bit of quality. Will it be enough to see them edge out Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea? Will it be enough? I mean, that's something to think about. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But on the other side, I think on the flip side that you're looking at it is the fact that this game would be of interest probably to Everton, definitely. Maybe Leicester, maybe Chelsea. With terms of the in terms of the FA Cup, those probably will be the teams that they will probably look at competing against. And then of course the Champions League for the likes of Bayern and PSG, and whoever else makes it through. So I think from that perspective, this game was important and interesting. But I think in terms of title race, this game was pretty much every game from now is pretty much a dead rubber, really, for Manchester City. It's all about just getting yourself in position to challenge for those other two trophies. So I thought it was a good game. I thought West Ham played really, really well. I mean, quantifying that, I think they played really, really well today. City, I think they missed Ruben Diaz today. I don't think Kyle Walker offers them what Ruben Diaz does. Zinchenko tries, but I don't think he's at that level on the left hand side. So I think they missed Ruben Diaz today, and that probably was what led to that opening goal for West Ham. Not the opening goal, but the equalizer for West Ham was because I don't think if Ruben Diaz plays, that ball gets lost on that right hand side. But that was a good piece of play from West Ham. They actually broke through the press quite a few times. I put this on Twitter as well. I think they broke through the press quite a few times. The problem was they just didn't have that cutting edge up front. I mean, Antonio is a bit of a grafter. He's not really crafty. I mean, Lingard has a few good touches, and it's good for West Ham. But when you're trying to break down a team like Man City, you just need a little bit more. You felt that they were missing that final killer pass, that killer touch that would have just got them on goal, or got them the goal. And that one moment, there were actually two moments. Well, the first one was the goal, where they got past the press and they put in some good passes and they got that goal. And the second was a chance at the end for Issa Diop. I thought that was a good chance as well to score. But again, aside from that, there were times when West Ham had City on the back foot, but then they just gave it away with the bad pass, or it was a poor cross, a poor decision making, whatever the case was. But then that's the reason. That's West Ham, isn't it? So and I think that was it. I think there was some encouragement there for the teams, is that if you get through the press and you have a little bit of quality, you can hurt Manchester City. You can get goals. Of course, keep in mind this is a Manchester City that's playing without Ruben Diaz, that's playing without Rodri, then have full Foden as well, then start as well. So it's quantifiable. Even Raheem Sterling was not available today. He didn't play today as well. So it was missing a few players. But that's just Manchester City, isn't it? They can have 4, 5, 6 players out and they can still win games pretty easily, but better than most other teams, and that's just what it is. The first goal, but interesting as well for City though, the two goals that they scored both came from set pieces today, and that was very, very important as well for me to notice, because both goals came from defenders, but that's fine. But the thing was, they both came from set pieces, so they didn't actually break West Ham down as frequently as they would have liked from open play. They broke them down from set pieces, whether that was the first goal, which was Ben Johnson conceding the free kick, and then it's a nice little work through, and then they score the goal. Or, on the other side, the same thing that happens with the corner that comes through, after Craig Dawson had created the initial foul, and so they get a goal from that. So both goals came from set pieces, but both are very, very well worked. I think Kevin De Bruyne with a magnificent cross for the first goal, Riyad Mahrez with some really great work for that second goal, and then Diaz finishing it off with the header, Don Stones finishing it off with the header. I mean, what a turnaround for City. I mean, overall, they were just brilliant. They were brilliant in most phases of play, but they were a bit sloppy though at times. They were giving the ball away. Maybe that was because West Ham were a little bit well vested. They had more energy. So Declan Rice, was covering a lot of blade. Coufal was covering a lot of blade. So, they had that. But I still think City, I think that's something that's probably there for them to work on, because it's going to be 2 games a week from this point on for City. You would imagine, unless something untoward happens in the Champions League or the FA Cup. you would expect this to be the case at least till the end of the season, that they're going to have 2 games a week. So they've got to have to get used to that. And if they're going to have to get used to that, they're going to have to get the players are going to have, and they're going to have to get used to the fact that there's going to be rotation. Players are going to come in, and they're going to have to be up to speed quickly. But I think overall, otherwise, I just feel that what was telling was, in fact, this was a city that was missing a few key players, and yet they were rarely troubled. And even they made a lot of mistakes, but they were rarely troubled, and they still went on to win. I think one tactical note, though, and I pointed this out even against in the Spurs game, is Spurs went in with a back four in the game, and not the 2-0 win, but the one that they lost. They went in with a back four, and oftentimes what you saw was City countered that with the front five. But it's a striker, the forwards, and then the 2 midfielders, and it's almost that way where it's like a 4-on-5, and they can get the gaps in between, because the 2 wingers, if you look at the 5, the 2 wingers are always very wide, and then these 3 players are kind of trying to get in between the fullbacks and the defenders. So it's almost that. And I said maybe a back 5 is the answer to try to keep that quiet. And I think today West Ham showed that a back 5 can work, because again, City didn't beat them in open play. They got the 2 goals from set pieces. So maybe a back 5 is an option, and maybe that's an answer. Again, this is a City team that didn't have its best players. They were missing quite a few key players. So I would need to see more of these sort of games to understand if that is an option. But I think a back 5 might be the way to go. If they're going to stop City from scoring goals, I think a back 5 might be the answer for a lot of teams. It's just, because City are going to make that front line as wide as possible. So back 4 is just going to get stressed. So you need that extra security of a third defender and the extra security of a stadium in front of them. So essentially a back 6, maybe something like that. So they probably need 5, 6 players just defending, because that's what they probably will need in terms of beating. Maybe that is an option to stop them from scoring. How do you score against City? Again, I don't know the answer to that. I think the answer from today's game is you just wait for City to make mistakes. You try and defend for your lives. You try and do whatever you can to stop them, and then hope that somewhere along the line City just make a mistake and you can kind of capitalize on that. And that's really all that you can talk about from this game. But because I thought, as a tactical note, that's what this game was. It was a tactical note for other teams to think about how they can stop them in the other competitions, because the league is pretty much gone now for anybody. Well, not pretty much, it's gone. It's gone now for anybody else to worry about. So I think from that perspective, the back 5 is an intriguing thought, and maybe that is something that teams can explore. No, I know 5 at the back gets a lot of negative connotations. It's negative football, but when you're up against probably the best team in Europe right now, I'm not talking England, in Europe, probably the best team in Europe right now, I think you're gonna have to try something different. You're gonna have to be a little bit respectful of that, a little bit cautious of that. So then maybe that is an option. But we'll see. We'll see if more teams try to employ that, if more teams try to figure that out and maybe try and work with that. We shall see if that works for them. But otherwise, it was just a straightforward win. Man of the match, I know they gave it to John Stones on PT, but I don't think there was one standout player. I don't think there was any standout player. There were 2 standout moments for City, but I don't think there was a standout player at City today, and that's fine. Sometimes that's good. All of them had probably 7 or 7 out of 10s probably, if you were doing sort of a rating system. So I don't think there was a standout player, but I think you probably give it to John Stones because he scored a goal. You could give it to Ruben Dias because of the work that he does as well. So you can't really go wrong with either. Maybe even Fernandinho probably, for the work that he puts in. But it's any one of them. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I think that's City, isn't it? That you can have players who can consistently play at a high level. That was good. I think one final note for me, I think, will be Ilkay Gundogan and how important he is. Because today, I don't think he had a good game today. And what he brings more than anything else is the fact is his ability to shoot from distance, which means that even when teams are parking the bus or having 5 or whatever you want to have at the back, you can have this one player who can probably score from long distance. So players are always going to be afraid, and they're going to be a little bit more space because they're going to try to close him down. So I thought that was interesting as well, that today he didn't have a good game and City didn't look at their fluent best. But I think he's going to be a critical player for them in this one end as well. So again, very small notes, and it's a straightforward game, and it probably would have been more. There would probably have been more an analysis and intrigue if City had lost, but I think with them winning, that's kind of just obvious. But 20 games in a row now, that they're unbeaten, I believe 20 games in a row. I mean, it's sensational. And to think that 2-0 back again, 2-0 Tottenham. Everybody thought City are done, Pep are done. Jose Mourinho is going to take Spurs back to the top or whatever else the headlines were. And I'm guilty of that too. I believe that maybe City are coming to the end of a cycle, and maybe they need a cycle, but they've just gone and proven everyone wrong and shown that sometimes even in defeat there can be lessons that you can take, and if you can act on them quickly enough, you can still turn your seasons around and you can still win games. I think that's a note for a lot of teams to take forward, for not just for this season but for next season and beyond as well. Sometimes you can learn a lot in defeat, and sometimes you can learn more in defeat than you can in wins, in victories. So I mean, that's just what it is. And I think it's staggering to see, but I think City are going to be aiming beyond just the Premier League, and I think this I firmly believe this is a season when City will probably break the Champions League dot. There's still a few good teams, but at the moment I just don't see anybody else having that combination of defensive and attacking prowess that City have. So for me they are the favorites. I know a lot of people are going to talk about quarterfinals and things like that, but I think they're the favorites for me even now. And I know once they get past the quarterfinal, which they probably will, um, then I think people will start to take them more seriously. But I think for now, for me already, I think they're the favorites for the Champions League. But we'll see what happens there. Anyway, thank you for watching. We don't have a lot of big games in the Premier League today. It's a bit of a slow day, and we've got a few big games tomorrow. But I will try to do another one. I'll probably see if I can do the Barcelona Sevilla one. So stay tuned for that. I will keep you updated on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting there to let you know if I'm doing the match reaction show for that one or not. But in the meantime, take care. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you're watching this for the first time, because I haven't done this for a while. But please subscribe. It really helps me to keep producing these videos. And I want to keep doing that. So your support really helps with that. So really appreciate it. And also smash a like if you enjoyed the video, and share your comments about how many points do you think City are going to win this one. What's the over-under on points? I think 19 points is a record that City set. I think they can better that. I think they can better that this season because they don't have a team that's really on their level right now, and everybody else is just too busy fighting for top four. So how many points do you think City are going to finish by ahead by? I think they're going to finish ahead by 20. That's my prediction, that they're going to finish ahead by 20. Let me know, what do you think in the comment section? Do you think it's going to be more? Or do you think it's going to be less? Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. But thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a good evening or morning, whatever time you're watching this. I'm doing this in the morning here, but take care, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.